Welcome, everybody, to day number 88. Thank you, as always, for being here. I want to click it along for the welcomes and the hellos. Get right into it. JDO, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Greensburg, Jeanette and Harrison City here, Texas. Rogam, God bless all of you guys. Lynn Fireball, appreciate that comment right there coming out of Richmond, Virginia. Greetings to everyone looking for tonight's update. Best place to find accurate information. Shirley Phelps, welcome. Washington State. Pinkums, I see you there jumping in from San Jose, California. Folks, this is what's interesting right here, and this is why we encourage you and why we work so hard. Jeff Burnett, God bless you, from Placer County. I love Placer County. I absolutely love Placer County. Do not tell anybody where Placer County is. We'll see if they can figure it out. It's beautiful. Greetings from Chesapeake, Virginia. Russell James. That it would be the legendary Rusty, the guy that just chatted that in there. The boss man over there at Integrity Television, and the man that first took me to Moscow in 1994. Blessings, PG, Slava Ukraina. Yes, today is a huge, huge day. And Jeff Smith, God bless you there. I see all of you guys jumping in here. Appreciate it. Tonight, going to be awesome. Thank you for the likes and the comments. Two things I want to remind you of before we get started. Number one is you are coming to the right place. Here's Al Jazeera with their breaking news. And I like Al Jazeera. Not everything, but you got to pick and choose where you look at things. Breaking news, Kyiv extends the period of martial law and general mobilization for 90 days. That's breaking for them. I told you 48 hours ago. So, Al Jazeera, give me a call and I'll keep you guys up to speed. Don Gentilini, as always, welcome. Folks, tonight you're going to get the most inside, accurate information on Europe that is possible. I'm telling you right now. So here was my scratch notes from today, because Sundays are busy, you know, church day and very busy from early in the morning. So here was my scratch notes. But Zhenya and I had already planned to do the program together. Placer County, somewhere near Placerville. Firecracker 10. Oh, I got my other glasses on. Yeah, Firecracker 10. God bless you. So I had these notes jotted, and Placer's near Sacramento. Go ahead, Menningers. Californians always messing the stuff up. I hope people know that Sacramento's the capital of California. Sacramento's where we used to live. So I want to jump right in tonight. I'm going to ask your indulgence just a little bit, but always when I have Zhenya, we sometimes we roll until we're finished. It's not too bad. You get out of here pretty much on time, but it's awesome. You do not want to miss anything. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family. The second thing I want to share with you, and Zhenya and I just finished this. So I was telling you all these notes that I had. Zhenya and I always try to be together on Sundays, and I had written all these notes, and then when we hook up, you know, no preparation on his side. I do the prep, we talk. He goes, man, we need to talk about Europe tonight. I'm in Poland, I'm in Czech, Germany, Netherlands, was going to Sweden. I'm talking to people on the streets. Let's talk about Europe tonight. I said, bud, that was all of my topics, was talking about Europe. And of course, Ukraine and the updates. So folks, this is going to be really, really good. And thank you for being here. The other thing is I want to ask you guys is right here. Now, a lot of you are watching on Facebook, and a lot of you are watching on YouTube, or you're watching on Twitter. I have people watching on Twitch. If that plant is real, it needs some water. It's fake. Right here, folks. This is the YouTube channel, and this is my backside of it. But right here's the like and subscribe. Really want to ask you guys to jump over there, if possible. All you've got to do is come here, and there'll be a subscribe button right there. It makes it much easier for me to interact with you versus all these other channels, which I'm seeing, but it can get overwhelming a little bit. So if we could go there. And the second thing is, this is the video from last night, the tribute. I'll make it big right here. And a lot of work went into this joker right here. But this tells the truth of Azovstal. All the guys in Ukraine are starting to watch it now. They're very, very thankful. So I'm going to ask you, it's right on the main page. So if you do not know where my YouTube is, just go Greg Terry Experience. Or if you type in Greg Terry, it probably will pop up with the experience. And go to that video. And when you bring it up, you can just hit the share button. Put it on your Facebook page. Put it on any other social media you have, Instagram, whatever. And let's get this video out. I would deeply appreciate it, because that right there is the truth. So, folks, going to be good. Appreciate all of you doing that. Done and done about 4 hours ago. Ricochet, thank you to that. And everyone else. God bless you on this Sunday night. Buckle your seatbelts and refill your teacup, because you're getting ready to hear the truth about Europe. And let me tell you something. No holding back. Zero holding back. Here we go. Most Sundays, I do have you here, so this works out perfectly tonight. I've got some stuff ready to go, and I'm going to ask you questions. But first, so we're still on target tomorrow morning to finish up the purchase of the van.
Can't wait.
And I know you can't wait. We can't wait either. So I look forward to getting a video tomorrow, talking to you tomorrow, and seeing that sucker again. Now, once that happens, you heading back to Khmelnytsky?
Yes, I will load 2 cars with humanitarian aid in Lublin.
Yes. Okay, so you're going to go from Auschwitz to Lublin.
Yes.
Okay, good. And pick up more aid. So it's multi-purpose trip, as we always talked.
Yeah,
your hair's looking good tonight. Almost as
Thank
good
you.
as mine. Yeah, looking really good. And
I did haircut in the bathroom.
It's obvious.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. But I mean, it looks good. It looks good. You know, you gotta have the hair looking good. So listen, let's start here. I've got topics that I want to talk with you about tonight. The first one was, of course, the van and finishing that out. And then you're heading to Lublin and then back to Khmelnytsky. But this weekend, you've been in Poland, and a little time to relax, or a little whatever you've been doing, and because you look fresh. But we talked earlier today, and you said you've spent time this weekend planning, working on strategies, next trips, back to the east, back to Kharkiv, et cetera, et cetera. So what have you kind of, what have you come up with once we get back? Now, of course, you know, shelters rolling, the ministry's rolling, humanitarian aid, everything that we're doing. But, you know, now that the war is in day 88, we have specific things that we try to target. So after you're planning this weekend, what are you looking at over the next few days once we're back in Khmelnytsky?
The things I can share this moment, it's I was thinking about that. I was praying about that, and I was talking with the people from Khmelnytsky. For sure, we need to make sure that people in Khmelnytsky are fine.
Yes.
This is what we agreed with. It's still, situation didn't change in some families, like some people lost their jobs, and we need to care about them. It's one thing. The next one, after our last trip to Kharkiv, especially Dergachi, we've seen there the lines of people, civilian people who living in that places, villages, and they were standing for to get some humanitarian aid, some food. And then we were started to ask, what about them? Why so many people are on the streets and in that line? And then we got the explanation that because of, let's say, it's closed zone, it's not allowed for a lot of even volunteers. So we and there is no like food stores, no even small places where they can buy food. Plus, because of situation with fuel, the prices, it's easy to understand. Pricing going up,
Right.
especially for transportation in that kind of far places. So we realized that there is a big need in it, and I think we'll start to making a special like a food sets
Okay.
like with like different stuff in it, and I think we'll be making like hundreds and hundreds, and
Good.
then once in 2 weeks I think we'll be going there with the team, and the first half of the trip will be for this kind of villages, and the second half of the trip, second day or like third day, just few people like with me and maybe Andrew and maybe Sasha, we will go to, let's say, more risky zone.
Right.
It's like with the more restrictions, and yes, and to be more, let's say, more flexible, how to drive, where to drive, when to stop, and so on. And we need to be like having a lot of dynamic, let's say.
Sure. Flexibility.
Flexibility, yes. So we will send one car back. This is our like thoughts at this moment. Yes,
A
and
lot of
then
the things. Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
and the other thing we need to finish, let's say, to make everything right and correct on our warehouse with humanitarian aid, because we were like changing a lot of uploading, getting, sending, and now we need to check what we have, what we have, and to prepare it, to plan how to we'll distribute it. That's it. Then
Beautiful.
we will work with medical, some medicine. We got requests from three groups, let's say, the three groups of military guys and some civilians that in big need in Ukraine. So we will send new requests tonight and tomorrow morning, and we'll try to get it to Ukraine. That's it.
Well, everything that you've talked about, I think the key word there is flexible, because the reality is I need ammunition, not a ride. And we're entering a new phase here with, I think we can say, I know we can say that Mariupol has fallen. So now with Mariupol being gone, in fact, I'm going to talk about that in a moment. I've got my list here that I want to go with you. Everything that we're going to talk about tonight affects your plans for the shelter and for the ministry and for the humanitarian aid and for the military aid. So we can make plans. You know, I don't want to preach to you, but Book of Proverbs says, many are the plans in a man's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails. And we make our plans, but we don't know, because there's some crazy things that have unfolded in the last 23 hours. I mean, crazy, absolutely crazy. And I don't think we can predict for 1 minute what's going to happen next. So let's just get going. These are the things that I have that I want you to share with tonight, because I know you're on top of everything this weekend. So number one, well, actually this would be number two, because number one was, how are you, the car, the van, and whatever. Number two, President Duda is the best friend of President Zelensky and Ukraine. The hugs, he came to the parliament today, he made a speech, and basically in his speech, he declared that Ukrainian territory is sovereign. And I've actually, over the last 2 programs, shown responses from Zelensky, Podolyak, Kuleba, because a lot of other nations were saying, listen, give away a little land and let him go away. And even American companies like the New York Times were giving instructions to Ukraine, just give away some of your land. And of course, Podolyak lost his mind, very angry, but was very direct. Kuleba, Zelensky, and now what's nice to see is President Duda, the brother, the real brother of Ukraine, came in to the parliament and says, no, we're not, you don't give away any sovereign territory. You're in control of your land. And not only that, this one's going to make Putin a little nervous, but Ukraine and Poland really are increasing their relationship. Duda said today in his speech that the refugees in Ukraine are not refugees, they're guests.
Yeah.
Don't call them refugees, they're guests.
Very, very strong.
Very strong statement. And that's where a majority of the refugees are internationally. And he said they're guests. And then even Zelensky, over the last 24 hours, has been talking about the relationship with Poland and Ukraine getting so close that it's almost like a free border. We're the same people. We work together. The only thing, you can't vote. But other than that, we're together. So
it's coming from
your thoughts on that.
So from Zelensky, it was, I've heard the statement like, we will do all we can for people from Poland, had de jure and de facto the same rights for business on the territory of Ukraine. We will do from Ukrainian side everything possible from us. For they could run business and and having own interest as a business people. That's important, I think, for both sides.
It's really important,
and
not just listen, not just for the relationships and the help, but man, that's a powerful statement to the aggressor.
And like we were talking with people here in Poland in different. We stay every night. We stay in some other new place, like some town and so on. So we talk with different people, and we hear it. Like we hear it from all, like statement like from this farmer. He said, I said, okay, man, what about guarantees, blah, blah, blah. He said, hey, you are Ukrainian. I said, okay, so on. He said, I could have different thoughts if I would deal with Russian, but not with Ukrainian now.
And that is in regard to the van.
Yes,
awesome.
then, like when man today is like, I think he's about 60 years age, and he said, yeah, sure, we will fight.
Hold on, a man there about 60 years old? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And he said, yes, we know about the war, it's a massacre, and yes, he's much the leader of Russia, much worse than Hitler, it's no doubt. Then he said, yes, Poland gave out all possible things to support Ukraine, and we understand that in our plans as for country in future we have to grow up the quantity of our military up to 300,000. and we know clearly that at this moment Ukraine has about 700,000 already. So we understand we need to support big power against that aggressor, and for us it's for us as well. And he said yes, and we as well, we really understand that we did and we do and we will do all possible from our sides, but we surely hope that the giant like United States will support on their level. This is we count on. This is it was the words from that man.
Yes, and that man, and this is wonderful people to see, because honestly, this is how people around the world think. Because the United States has done many, many wonderful things for a lot of nations and people. But in certain situations, at certain times, if our leadership is not right, it would be no different than your leadership not being right. I can tell you right now, if Ronald Reagan was president right now, you would not be in Poland.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be home. And your family would be home. He would have already tore them up. I don't, so I was talking to a military guy Friday night, and retired military guy. And he told me, he said, PG, I watch your show every night, and we support Ukraine. And it makes me sad because, this is a veteran, retired. He said, the sad thing is we operate in fear in this world, and we shouldn't. And because of that, innocent people are being slaughtered. And he goes, take it from me, from a veteran. From everything I've watched on the TV and your program every night, I'm confident that we could just take one little piece of our military and it would have already been over. The level of our technical skill of our military guys, they couldn't stop it, and it would be over. It would have already been over. So who knows? I can tell you there's a lot of goofy things going on. So that's Poland. Let me do that button. And here's Ukraine, sovereign Ukraine. Okay. Now you are in Poland. I'm going to give them the blue color. Welcome to Poland. Now remember, people in the program like to point out there's that little piece of Kaliningrad right there that's actually Poland, but we'll get that back. Now we have the powerful nations of Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. Absolute brothers to Ukraine. Now, if you take all of that, and I'm going to go in black now and make it bigger. Forget that little red thing, but I'll go around it. He's in trouble. Because those 5 nations right there are in serious relationship. Serious relationship. And right above it, the ones coming, Finland, they will have the same type of relationship. Once you get a Finn on your side, it's over. Now, here's what I want to talk about next. And I don't know if you saw this, but this nation right here, France, their president is the one that decides to call Mr. Putin and tell him, I think we need to work on negotiating Ukraine giving up land. And then he gets demolished by the Ukrainian leaders about a week ago. Well, today, I've got it right here. France has come out and says, no matter how fast we push it for Ukraine, I don't think they can become a part of the EU for 15 or 20 years. So you're Ukrainian. We're thankful to France for everything they've done. But this nation right here is not even on the same planet as the Baltics, Poland, and Ukraine. I don't have a clue what they're doing other than fear. What do you think?
I think it's not just a fear. Yes, it's a fear, but fear. It's altogether. It's a past influence of Russia on France, different ways, politic, economic, altogether. And yeah, this is I think it's just a result. It's just a result. This is what is reality. It's a lot about money, and the second, it's a lot about politics. It's I think we cannot imagine how deep, let's say, roots of Russia in France. It's my thought.
Not only
my
that,
personal opinion.
Well, are you ready for this one?
Okay.
Drum roll, please. How about how deep the roots, let me put this in black. How about how deep the roots of France are in Russia? Let me tell you why. Here recently, several tanks have been captured in eastern Ukraine in the Yellow. Okay? And all the tanks that are older tanks have been equipped with new modern equipment for tracking, for logistics, for firing the weapons. And do you know where all that equipment came from?
The same.
It came from right here.
The same processor chips as from same directions that were found in Russian military drones shooted, and it was produced in February.
That's correct.
22.
Yeah. Listen, this is not 2010, and it's just it was made in France then. No, this equipment was made in February of 2022, meaning that it was only sold to Russia after that. The war started 224, or second wave. So there's
Looks
no
like
question.
That. This is what did I mean by the roots of Russia. I mean that Russia was using the sources of France, having their own interest, financial interest, political interest in France, on territory of France, and this is the influence I did mean, and I think it's from two sides as well. There is like interest of France in Russia as well, for sure.
No question.
Yes, it's
all right. So no, go ahead and finish your thought. So I'm recircling the nations here because I was getting a little crazy with my pen. So here's France. And listen, folks, we're thankful for what they've done, but there's something wrong here. There's something wrong there. And we've told you a couple of reasons why. Now, the next nation I want to talk about is
Germany.
Here. Okay. Let's go Germany.
Okay.
What about Germany?
What about Germany? Chess players.
Folks, on a Sunday night, day 88, you're getting the truth tonight. You got it, buddy. Now, look how much territory that is in Europe.
Yes.
Once again, you have the same nation. It's the same principles as the French. Now, we can't tell you for a fact that the Russian military is using German and microchips and equipment for their tanks and drones, That's a proven fact. We've got them. We've got them. They're made. And during February 2022, meaning the supply is there now. This is why these things are happening. Germany, they talk out of both sides of their mouth. And not only that, you've got Germany and you've got Italy yesterday talking to Brussels about continuing to pay blood money for their fuels and finding a way to pay in rubles where it would not go against the sanctions. We talked about that last night, and that's a joke. It just shows, you showed me a video right before we went on, wonderfully done, about blood money. That's what these nations are doing. You can throw them in there. Germany, France, Italy. You're paying Vladimir Putin, and he's using those resources to kill Ukrainians, innocent civilians, and destroy buildings. We're so far into this war, and we'll talk about Mariupol in a minute because it's crazy what they did today in Mariupol. It's crazy, but we'll get there in a second. So, Germany, chess players. France, they do whatever they want to do, but for sure, they're definitely in cahoots here with Russia. Italy does what they want to do. We also know, let's just take it here in white, Hungary, they're buddies. We know that Austria, they talk a good game, but they haven't proven anything yet on their support of Ukraine that would be not equal to their support of Russia. So look, when you begin to see the reality of this, the picture looks a little bit different. This is why they're getting to this point now, 88 days into the war, where these nations are disagreeing. We can't figure it out. And we've talked about this one, but if you go down and we stick here with these NATO nations, you go down here to Turkey and they're chess players. I call President Erdogan Humpty Dumpty, and that's a fairy tale story. And not disrespectful to him, but he sits on the wall. Well, we want to support Ukraine. Well, we want to support Russia. Well, we want to be friends to both. We want to do business with both. You can't do that. Well, we're going to block Finland and Sweden from coming into NATO because they support terrorists. Turkey, you're telling me that these nations support terrorism? Have you checked your track record lately? So it's very interesting story. Now, this is the next nation I want to go to. Go right in the middle. Large piece of territory.
The Fox.
The Fox. Folks, you can't get this anywhere else. The Fox. And the Fox is getting foxy. Because I've been sharing last few days, there are some good Belarusian people that do not want this war. But there's so much pressure from Russia onto Lukashenko. And Lukashenko is nothing but Pinocchio. You know what Pinocchio is? A puppet. He's a puppet. Now, today, you do know right here, Lukashenko and Putin met in Sochi. Do you know that? They're in Sochi today discussing the next steps. But while that was happening today, more troops, in fact, let me go here, more troops, and not only troops, but Iskanders are coming right on the border. Missile systems coming right back on the border where they all left from. I've already been sharing with you guys that Belarusian and Russian troops are massing all along the border above Ukraine. And today we learn Iskanders are coming in. What are those? Those are those trucks with those missile launching systems. They have hypersonic missiles. They're coming in. And folks, we've tried to share with you how big Europe and Ukraine is and how small it is. When those missile launchers are on the border, they're in their backyard. It's right on top. And it would be so difficult to stop those with anti-air because they're so close. They can run different trajectories. They can go lower altitudes, all these different things. But there's a huge push. And even Lukashenko has started to talk a little bit differently about how they need to support Russia. So you called Belarus the fox. You and I talked about the other day why'd they start shelling. Let me change colors. Why they start shelling Chernihiv again? Why did they start shelling Sumy and working this whole border up here in the north? Why? Because there's so much happening down here that they want to distract Kyiv and the troops to come this way, to come back this way, so that they can push further in this way. It's obvious now. But now, not only the shelling up here, but massing of troops. And Zhenya, I'll let you talk about all this, but I'll remind you that up until February this year, this is what happened here. They just massed. And everybody's going, oh, well, they're just sitting there. They're just hanging out. Missile systems were coming. Armaments were coming. Troops were coming. The next thing you know, you woke up February the 24th to a nation at war. Well, the same thing's happening right here now. And it has not happened early in the war. There was an invasion and there was a retreat, but there was not a huge buildup hanging at the border. So we're seeing in the north now exactly what happened in the east. So I think that's maybe why you call it the fox.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, I said maybe that's why you call it the fox.
Yeah, like cause he's playing a role like a drama. He's changing his stories, his directions, and ideas, opposites, and it conforms with his previous sayings, some of his statements. So he's a fox. He looks like, he acts like a fox. Concerning, I want to get back a bit, I need to touch it, coming back to France and Germany. When we're driving through Germany, especially on the small places, small cities, a lot of Ukrainian flags, officially, it's support Ukraine, and people, just normal Germans, they are really trying to, let's say, doing something. We met a couple of Germans who was, saying something like, "Oh, we don't know where is the truth," and we got other Germans who was telling, "Hey, yes, that's so sad. The Germany cannot help Ukraine more because we don't have so much weapon to help because we're no nothing in the reserves." And then I realized it seems to me that if to take middle-aged people, middle-aged, not it's the wrong middle-aged, okay. I think it seems to me then young people, the people younger, young people and middle-aged people, know or understand the reality in Belarus more than in Germany and France. It's they're afraid of doing something, but concerning information and sources, there is kind of, I don't know, is it habit, but maybe I'm wrong, but people are not digging.
No, they're not digging, brother.
And please, in Europe, most of the countries, they trust their media, and there is reasons why in the past. and many Belarusian people, they don't trust. But they are, it's the Polish government, the Polish country, let's say, government, which is controlled by forces, the people, not by democracy or something like that. And but Germany, they're not in stress like in the French people, because I think it's because they have that kind of information. This is like, and not in Poland. It's absolutely opposite situation.
Well, let me tell you about America. I don't trust my media either. Let me put it to you this way. Today, our refugees, there soon will be heading to Australia to meet with their daughter there when she can get out of Hong Kong, all Ukrainians. And so they come up on the stage today, and PK prayed over them, and it was a good time. And she thanked the church and thanked all the ministries, thanked everybody for doing our part for 88 days. And she said, do not stop, do not quit. And then she was very thankful that each night we're here telling the truth. Because the reality is, if you have to sell advertisement, ultimately media control comes down to money. That's what it is. It's no longer we're reporting the news. Now we're trying to make the news. This is why the New York Times, some clown sitting in a skyscraper in New York City, and that's why Podolyak asked them, have you ever even been within 1,000 kilometers of Ukraine? Don't tell us what to do. You do not understand. And if we quit and give Russia part of our territory, listen to me, world, they'll be back in 5 years to take more. We can't do it. They must be defeated. Of course, Podolyak understands. So let's do this one down. I want to talk about these two nations in combo, and then I've got a thought about this strategically tonight. So we're going to go back to this button and back to this map. I'm going to circle this nation for you. Great Britain and our friend who has the best hair in the world, Mr. Boris Johnson. I think they're being a high-level friend to Ukraine. High level. And here's why I'm going to say it. Not only with the things that Boris Johnson has done, not only with the bold statements he's made, not only, weeks ago he was telling the world, Ukraine's territory is Ukraine's territory. It's non-negotiable. You have to leave. And he was the first one on that level to come out and say that even after the war, Vladimir Putin cannot stay in office, period. You cannot have an aggressor, a dictator, trying to be a main player on the world stage. So Boris Johnson, been great. But there's something interesting right here, and I'm just going to color this nation in. You know where that's at? Moldova. Liz Truss yesterday says we need to arm Moldova because British intelligence is saying it is absolutely, and I'll go to the bigger map. So Great Britain, actually, let's do that first. Your thoughts on Great Britain and Boris?
I think they know much more than they share. It's I think their intelligence are on a high level, and they share what they can, but they act.
They know what's going on.
Act, yes. So coming to Moldova, it's like.
All right. Here I zoomed in. Here, Jacob. Moldova.
Okay.
And then I'll put a blue line down. No, I will not give them blue. I'll give them green. Transnistria region. So, two things, and I want your opinion on it. Well, this is Sunday night top 10 list here, guys. Russia told their forces in the Transnistria over the last couple of days to make sure the Tiraspol airport infrastructure in everything is ready to go. And then Liz Truss comes out and says, listen, Moldova, we need to arm you because this is going to be the intelligence they know. We cannot allow Russia to gain a strong footing. And let me go one more color so people can see it. We cannot allow Russia to gain a strong footing here. It cannot happen because they already, we don't like it, but it's the truth. They have a strong footing here. And they're building a stronger footing here. This is why Liz Truss said, the defense minister, you know, she's talking to Boris, Moldova cannot happen. It can't happen. So I agree with you. And I think British intelligence, they know exactly what's going on, and they know that can't happen.
But it seems to me it's this kind of statement, it's not as to Moldova, because there is no, like, I mean, it's wrong, but maybe to say like this, but there is no army, let's say, in Moldova.
Understood.
Just, you know, just some. So, just giving a weapon.
You better put the soldiers
in that kind
there
of situation. Yes, it's with the time and let's say in the situation we have right now. It seems to me that if just, you know, to invade there, maybe it's wrong to say, but for Russia, it's like no chance. If there will not be soldiers from Romania or other country.
If Russia comes into Moldova, even if they have weapons, they're going to get steamrolled.
Then we have a really problem.
That's what Liz Truss is talking about. Because then you're here, you're here, and you're here. Let's be honest.
Yes, like in situation with things which is, I mean, what's going on right now, right in this moment. You probably heard what's going on in Avdiivka. I don't know. It's according the comment is what's going right now in Avdiivka.
Yes. Where's Avdiivka?
Avdiivka.
In fact, that can just push us to the next topic. I'll stay on this map.
Just, and I will give just a comment. It's, let's say, the closest point to Donetsk.
Okay.
Try to find it.
Okay.
Because
we're good.
I've been in Avdiivka, and from the roof of the top, Gorlovka, Avdiivka, if you know, we can find the Gorlov. So from Avdiivka, I could see the Donetsk airport. It's okay. That's like this. So they said that today was comment that it's from the 2014. It's a worst attack, worst bombardment during all of this period since 2014. What's going on right now there in that place, right in this moment?
Right now.
So right now. And you may check.
I also I know also because it's on my list, and we've talked about that. Yeah, in fact, that's number 5 now, and I don't even know if I got my numbers right now, but who cares? The southeast of Ukraine, serious attacks, like unbelievable attacks. Okay, so you've told us now about here, and we'll just call it in the Donetsk area. But I can tell you the same thing. And this came from the mayor of Mykolaiv, but Mykolaiv is being cluster bombed right now.
Yeah.
Cluster bombed. All right. And we know that outside Zaporozhye here, And here's what's happening. Where, and I know for Mykolaiv, I don't know for Donetsk, but Mykolaiv, you know where it's being ripped from? Not the Black Sea, not the Caspian Sea, but from Kherson. They've moved so much equipment into Kherson. They're now attacking Ukraine from Ukraine's dirt. And not that they're doing it in other places, but they're doing some intense shelling and strikes from Kherson. I know Odessa. It's this whole line here, but for sure tonight, you know, as you told us now, and I hadn't even seen that because I was out of the studio, came back in when you hopped on, but just now, you know, an hour ago, I was following Mykolaiv, where the mayor came out and says, "Listen, we're being cluster bombed right now, and it is like the worst shelling and striking on Mykolaiv since the war started." Now here's what I think about this, and I'll clear this up. Here's what I think about this. Actually, before we do that, let's do this. Inergodar, it's located right there. It's where the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant is. Well,
okay.
Here's a story that Russia is going to use to rally more of their madness. Today, the mayor, the Russian-placed mayor of Inergodar and his team were struck by an IED or an explosive device or some type of explosive, an IED, as they walked into their building. None of those guys were killed, but they were injured. So now Russia is already starting to spin it that the Ukrainian terrorists are doing what they do. So that right there probably is going to turn out to be a big deal. Now, Jaka also, for some reason, so we were talking Mykolaiv, Donetsk, of course, everything over here. But for some reason, over the last few hours, they've been ripping here in Zhytomyr. And yesterday it was Rivne. But today, I mean, we've even had, it was either 3 or 7 people killed. And I know it's one of the burbs outside of Zhytomyr, but he said that in one strike, 100 homes were destroyed. One strike. So for some reason, they keep hitting Zhytomyr. And I know they're random bombing and they're doing whatever they want, but it's something about Zhytomyr they don't like. That's just a fact.
Yeah, because yes, there is reason. There is reason, and there is a couple of reasons because of the strategic position of that area, and it's quite protected. Plus, there is some forces which, I mean, let's say, bringing the troubles to Russian forces.
Okay.
So they are located close to Zhytomyr.
Okay, so that is why that's such a key area.
Seems to me.
You know, and I'll tell you something else. If we were to project long term, which who would have thought we'd have been here 88 days, but let's just say Moldova fell and you have Belarus. You know, this strip here is the closest connection between those two nations. So who knows? But you gave us some insight into Zhytomyr.
Okay.
It just continues to be struck.
Yeah, I don't know the reasons. I would say a couple more things about probably. Have you heard about this kind of bombs that Russia were using in 2014?
Okay, 1 second. Listen, now you're not allowed to do that.
Okay.
Folks, hey, Jacob, how much preparation did we put into this? Because why? We always want to do it live. We
Okay,
don't we
so
don't stage this. This is all raw
should I
answers.
sorry?
No, check this out.
Okay,
I was going to
okay,
show you the picture and say, give me a comment.
sorry.
These are barrel bombs that Russia is beginning to strategically use. They're carried by
Mm-hmm.
helicopters, up to 2,000
Yes.
kilograms of TNT, and they fill it with explosives, with um, rebar, with anything that will destroy life. Here we go.
Here, how it looks like.
Yes,
Do,
it's serious.
do, you, do you see it?
Yeah, we see it perfectly. It's been,
Okay, I see the
yep,
other
it's,
picture. Okay.
yeah. Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
No, put it back up there. I was seeing it. There.
This is
Okay,
a
there.
result of using.
Yes. And now they're coming. So it must have been in the tea leaves for
The
us to share that tonight. Because I I had that picture ready to go.
group of specialists
Yeah.
were invited to Russia to work with that kind of bombs, and these groups were working in Syria for that, and they did use it in 2014.
Yes. And
So
you know what's hey, you know what's
okay,
interesting? About 3 weeks ago, and that's the beauty of having every program. If I needed to go find it, I could. I've got everything we've ever done. About 3 weeks ago, we talked about Russia was moving a pretty large supply of soldiers out of Syria with Syrian experience up to the war in Ukraine. And now 3 weeks later, here comes the barrel bombs. You're exactly right. And that would make complete logical sense. Those guys have probably been brought up, rested, re-equipped, and they're bringing some of their knowledge from warring in Syria into Ukraine now, because that is where it was developed and where it was used by the Russian military. That's spot on.
one comment.
Okay.
I think with the time, more information will be opened, will become public. I mean, on a world level, in different countries, and when it be proven, it will bring the division on a world level, because for some countries it will be obvious that there is some unions and the guarantees which will not be working in case of real war, and this war shows it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say,
I assume you're
so
talking about
this
Ukraine not getting the security guarantees that it was supposed to have. But that's we can call it the way it
not
is. But not only that, I
okay.
understand.
I think it's a little bit more, because it's already did show the situation that there is no common like position in the world, even in between NATO countries, about the possible aggression and the possible answers to that kind of situation. This is why Great Britain, I think another country, they already have some ideas about possible unions,
Mm-hmm.
possible agreements between countries which officially NATO it's like, I mean, it's for the defense, let's say,
Correct.
and in reality it's nothing about like aggression, and it's for the defense. In reality, I think the defense situation, when somebody calling special operation and doing something, and if some countries of the same NATO calling that war, and some countries recommend to give up some territories, it's a sign for other countries that the territory and the country and could be let's say, I mean, it could be on on the table to play with.
Correct.
And
That
how
should
it's
scare.
possible that the friends can discuss Ukrainian territory,
It's what happened.
and it shows the other NATO countries
Hey,
the position.
that's right.
It is nothing about how it's possible. And there is a country, sovereign country, the other one attacking it. There is invasion, and one of the biggest, I mean, one of the big countries say, "Hey, just give up. I mean, just give them out some territory, because it is not a French territory. It is not the thousands of French people were killed, or I mean, and were bombed, were raped. Yes, that's easy, but it shows the real attitude and the role of that the politic is over the principles of
Politics
sovereignty
and money.
and money. So and it will, this situation will be clear, will become clear later. I think
Probably
few
sooner
months,
than
and
later.
then it will show how, I mean, how deep was this kind of game. And it was a game of and for some, I think especially small countries, it will be a sign. Then they can be in a trade between big countries.
Well, this
They
is
can
why
be in a trade.
this is why Estonia wants to take NATO's navy, run it up through the Black Sea, and wipe out the ports and get our grain going and take our ports back. The little bulldog Estonia. They understand.
Yes, yes, and because it's and the. I mean, it's just. I mean, I mean, you don't have. I mean, you don't need to be like him and have a special, like, education level and that kind. You just. It's just obvious. You just reading news, and you just put it together. It's not even like, like like it like it trading on I don't know, like on the forex, whatever. It's much more let's say logical, and you see it. It's obvious. The comments, official positions, situation with media, and you understand.
Yeah.
So there is country, and they can trade territory. Not even, I mean, not there surely, but others. They can trade. Then have some agreements behind, and it's easy, and so it's a sign for the whole world about what's going on with all of that kind of agreements, all kind of the right things, with the proclamations and the principles we had and we don't have anymore. And so this is why I think that this war will bring division. I mean, in between countries inside of Europe and on the territory of a lot of regions, let's say, the globe.
Well,
you say.
you know, it's pretty amazing how this program tonight has evolved. We're updating about the war, of course. We talked about the ministry at the beginning, the van, where you're at, where you're going, but we came down to this nation discussion, and that was really, once again, where I wanted to go tonight. That was my list, talking about the nations. And here, to get to the end, you really tell the picture. And the picture is where this is thinking in some nations to unify them. What may actually happen is it's going to divide some of these nations. And we're really witnessing that. When you talk, the France deal, it's a big deal. The other thing is, I'm very thankful. A lot of American military equipment, the 777s are there. Things are happening. We've had senators there. We've had the president's wife there. We've had House of Representatives, and all those guys that came to visit. I don't like any of them personally, but I'm thankful they went there. Okay. It showed the right statement, but our president has been there. And not only that, yes, we are helping. We've given so much money, but we need that strong voice, not just giving money, not just sending a senator or sending some pretty good weapons. We need the voice that says, this is it. We've sent a few weapons. We've sent some money. We've trained people. But this is it. It stops, or you're going to get us next. That's what needs to happen. And I don't think it's going to.
Sometimes it looks like, as for me, it looks like a lot of countries, they cannot, pretend, they cannot do like, they're pretending that nothing is happening. So it's not possible. We're thankful to French people, to German people, other countries for really helping our people, Ukrainian refugees. Because I think it's like two different things. One, it's not possible to not to do like anything, just to ignore it. The other situation is when by request or by some reason there is a special delay, which is obvious, because when when decision is made, some weapons, artillery coming to Ukraine in less than 24 hours. and from the United States, and it's so hard, it takes so much time to transport one heavy machine from Germany to Ukraine, because and so on. It's like,
wait a second.
It's obvious.
Wait a second.
Sorry.
Are you telling the truth that the Americans can actually get airplanes full of heavy equipment there from the other side of the world in 24 hours, and it's on the battlefield? And sometimes Germany, it takes them a week to get a tank there. I understand.
Not week. Okay, let's say like this. We have check what we got from Germany. Just check it, and and all the process and timings about the one when it's discussed, when there is a decision, when it's published, and then when is reality. Reality is, if we will get something in the end of July, it will be from Germany.
Are you telling me
it will be
a lot of the Technic that they say they're sending hasn't arrived?
Please check it.
I will check it, but you're there.
Please.
I'm checking it with you.
Okay.
It's not arrived.
The things we do expect. Okay, it's
just go ahead and say the statement, and we'll leave it. Okay.
Serious. There is no serious stuff we were waiting and expecting, and we didn't get it yet.
Okay, like everybody can understand. But on the world scene, hey, we're giving aid, we're giving Technic, we're doing this, but it's
okay. Please understand. It seems to me it's in a lot of areas like this. There is official statement, there is official promise, which important not just for the world like a sign, but probably like a sign for own countries that we do help, we do not ignore, we based on we support the democracy and the principles of democracy. So we are not in ignore. No, nobody will say, hey, but we have some agreements in the past with Putin or something like this. We don't want for some truth would be released after because of our disagreement with, or our conflict with Russia. And I think it's two different things. And so it's very important the world talk about that. The world discussing it. The world sending requests on Google what's going on in Ukraine, and where is reality, and as more people would be interesting to know the truth. asking, digging, let's say, about the truth,
Yes.
the more action we will have from their own countries. Otherwise, it will bring the new reality to their countries. So
Yeah.
it's like that.
Which
This
you
is
don't
why
want.
this kind of program is important.
Absolutely.
Not even like, I mean, it's not like not being making people lazy to dig into search information. Even asking the question, even rising up some questions, will help people starting trying. I mean, okay, let's okay. I've heard so many things, opposite ideas. Okay, let's. I want to figure it out. Where is the truth?
Well, I think what it comes down to is that's what we're doing. But let me show you this right here, and you can put this in the bank. Look at my artistic abilities.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
Period. That is what it comes down to. Last thing, Zhenya, for tonight. Let me go here, and we did the tribute video last night. Made me cry, and I had to turn the program off. Yes, sir. It's solid. Now I've made it as a short. It's uploaded, and folks, everybody share that video. But right here, Jaka, last thing for tonight, and you get rest so you can buy your van. But Mariupol, it's fallen, and officially. But here's what made me mad today. Did you see that they had a festival in Mariupol with the
Yeah.
communist flags and the Russian flags? And do you know what the excursion was? Do you know what the highlight of the festival was? They
Drama
gave
theater.
walking tours to walk through the rubble of the drama theater to show what Russia had done. People are still buried under that drama theater. We do not know how many people are buried under it. Yes, they've gotten some bodies out, but there are people buried, and we'll never know now until we can get it back. They've been taken out, they've been buried in mass graves, but there are still people buried. And today, as a part of the festival in Mariupol, we offer you a tour to walk through our destruction. Unbelievable. But that's why we're here. It was sickening. It was absolutely, and I, watched the video of it, and I won't even play that video. I will not even show it. It's private video. We've got it, and they're literally making a carnival out of the drama theater where they murdered hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. But this shows you the mentality. No, but it's all about the money. So, well, buddy, this has been an awesome program. I mean, folks, if you have wanted to know the update, day 88, in regard to where the European nations stand, what's going on right now militarily, and also, tomorrow we're getting the van back at it. Plans for the future. Tonight has been a full hour, and we want to thank you for being here as always. Jacob, thank you, my friend. We love you. There's your heart. Guys, y'all get some rest. Get that van. Get over to Lublin, and get the supplies, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. We love you, brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
thank you. Bye.
How about this? We'll just say it together. Let's see, how can we do it together? Let's do it together. Good night. Can you say good night?
Good. Yes.
All
Good
right.
night.
Good night.